I am so glad that you have summoned up the courage to participate in a Lenten small group through Highland Baptist. Some of you, it doesn't take courage. It's something that you are so ready and able and willing to, is to lean into a group of people and share stories from your life. And for others of you, it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of vulnerability, but whatever emotion you bring with you into participating in one of our storytelling groups of resilience, I just want to name that I'm so glad that you said yes. And I want to share with you a little bit about what this experience is going to be like. And I figured that, especially when you're going to enter into an online space, to try something just for 3 weeks, that you might want to have some idea of what this is going to be like. And so that's what I'm here to help you with. Why did you say yes to this? We all have our different reasons that we say yes to a new venture in front of us. And I don't know why you said yes, but I want to tell you what my hopes are for these small groups, what my hope and prayer is for you as you have said yes and you move into this. One is that I hope for these groups that you all can approach resilience with curiosity. You and I both know here's the 10 things to do to be resilient list might sound really attractive, but actually it's not that helpful. I like to approach things like resilience with curiosity, with wondering, how do we be resilient? How does God help us be resilient? When we are knocked down, how do we stand back up? And to look at that question with curiosity and to know that we've got to seek that out together. That these groups also initiate remembering, reflecting, articulating, listening, and paying attention. Each of those a holy act and practice in faith. To remember, to draw to mind all the experiences we've had in our life and let memories fill us and reconnect with us. To reflect on those memories and wonder, what is the meaning behind these memories, and how do we understand them now? How did we understand them before? To articulate them, to be able to name and put them into language and try to express, to share our experiences with each other. Even if it was just up to that would be helpful, right? But then I want you to listen to each other. You're going to have a chance to listen to each other, share about each other's lives. And that is helpful. That is holy work, okay? And then finally, that it helps us pay attention in our lives. The more we are reflecting on our life and other people's lives, the more we can pay attention to wonder, what is God doing all around us? Why did you say yes? It might be also just to nurture holy relationships through sacred space. Even on Zoom, it is possible. It is. To be able to nurture holy relationships where you're seeking God together and you're listening to the Spirit. And then that together, we might marvel at the ways that God helps us to stand back up. Marvel at it. Be amazed at the ways that resilience has blossomed and moved in the wilderness and happened in the wilderness, and that it still does. So those are some of my hopes. I'm curious, what are your hopes? And it's important to know what those are, right? So this is what it's going to look like. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, this is what is going to be asked of you. And it's a spiritual journey that you have gotten on and said yes to. That I want you to be resilient, curious. That the first week you're going to spend some time remembering your childhood and your young adulthood, however you would define that. Identify a time when you witnessed resilience in someone you knew, someone else, preferably someone you really do know. Although if it's someone that you know who they are, even if it's not a personal relationship, that's okay too. And then I think of a time when you experienced resilience yourself. And then you're going to share these each of one of those stories, both of those stories, with the group. And I want you to listen to each other's stories. And at the end, wonder together, based on these stories, how might we describe resilience and how it has formed us in faith during our growing years? How have those memories been pivotal in how we understand our lives? In the second week, I want you to spend some time thinking through this past year of COVID. Identify a time you witnessed resilience in someone else, Sometimes it's easier to see in other people than ourselves. And then I identify a time when you experienced resilience, when you had fallen down and you got back up. So share this with the group, listen to each other, and then wonder together, based on these stories, how might we describe resilience? And how has it formed us in faith during this year of a global pandemic? It's the beginning of the ways that we are going to wonder, what stories are we going to pass on to our children and great-grandchildren and all the way down the line? What are the stories that we're going to hold on to that have got to be told? And finally, you're going to consider these stories that you've heard. Consider what it was like to share your own stories, both the recalling them to mind, but then also articulating them to each other. And then look around your life. Where are you seeing resilience? With all of these reflections in your mind, prayerfully ask God, what might God be calling us to learn about resilience? How do we prepare to practice resilience in the future? We know we're going to fall back down. How do we learn how to stand back up? And how do we help resilience blossom in our world, in our wilderness? How do we help others to experience resilience and to bring reflections and share with the group and listen together for the Spirit's guidance? It is not on you to be the wisest person. Nobody needs you to be the wisest person. If anything, we know from our faith that human wisdom really is nothing in comparison to God's foolishness, right? From 1 Corinthians. So I don't need you to be the wisest, most spiritual person of all time. I just want you to pay attention and be willing to share it with each other. Logistically, what does it mean moving forward? I'm going to reach out to you soon about your group and give you your information about when you're meeting and who your leader is and who else is in your group. And also your facilitator will be reaching out to you to give you a Zoom link and just kind of remind you when you all are going to be meeting. If you've watched this and actually you didn't sign up, but you want to, we have some space available. So email me, carol@hbclouisville.org. And I would love to see if I could get you plugged in. I want you to know, I am praying for you. I am praying for you because I believe God is at work within you, that God is going to help you see resilience in your own life and to anticipate what it's like in yours and everyone else's life around you. And that God is going to be knitting us together through our stories of life in the wilderness, seeking after and praying for and anticipating resilience. So thank you for taking the risk with us, and know that we believe that in the risk of sharing our lives with one another in love, that God shows up. Thanks.